Yo, what's up Beatbox Assembly? So yeah, as you can see from the title of this video, this is going to be a tips for beatboxers video. Now don't worry, these tips can be applied for beginner beatboxers and also pro beatboxers. Not to brag, but I know you can apply this for pro beatboxers because it helped me win a GBB wildcard, so you might want to stick around. Now there are two types of tips that I'm going to share with you. The first one is more general kind of tips, like tips that everybody knows about, but I'm just here to remind you about it. The second type of tip is the more deep kind of tip, but I feel is not talked about a lot in the community, even though I feel it's very, very useful. So I'm going to talk about it in this video. But yes, let's go into the general type of tip first. Number one, basics. Basics, people, work on your basics. I don't even need to say much. Your basics are so important. Why? Because your drum beats are going to be the foundation of majority of the beats and routines that you make. So please, work on your basics. Make it clean and strong. Number two, when you first start beatboxing, learn the sounds that you like. I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to have fun with beatboxing. When I first started beatboxing, I hated the liberal. So I did not learn the liberal. I only learned the liberal like 2 years into beatboxing. The first 2 years, all I did was try to learn the trumpet, the polyphonic voice. So yeah, if you're wondering why my trumpet and polyphonic voice is so good, well, I've been doing it for years. Now you know. So yeah, practice sounds that you like, because only then can you really enjoy beatboxing, especially when you first started. Number three, this tip is a little similar to tip number two. Actually, it's the opposite of tip number two. Make sure to learn sounds that you don't like as well. Sometimes when you listen to a certain sound, you're gonna think, that sound is whack. You know what I'm trying to say? But you won't know if you will really like it until you try it. For example, years ago, I used to think that the snore bass was a pretty whack sound. And then I learned it and I was like mind blown and I love it so much. So yeah, learn sounds that you like, but also take the time to learn sounds that you think you might not like, because who knows, you might like it. And guess what? If you don't like it, at least you have an additional sound in your arsenal that you might be able to use in the future. Number four, listen to music, and not just music that you like. Listen to all types of music. A lot of beatboxers nowadays, all you guys do is listen to beatbox videos. All you do is go on Swiss Beatbox and watch GBB battles. How are you going to improve by watching other beatboxers? I mean, you can, but there's a limit to it. You can't improve after a certain point. So listen to music. Listen to every kind of music that you like, and also music that you don't like. For example, I love jazz, I love blues, I love hip hop, and all kinds of stuff. But guess what? There are also genres that I don't really like. For example, like trap. I'm not a big fan of trap. But guess what? I still listen to trap music to take inspiration. So if I see a certain concept or technique that I think is really cool in trap music, I can bring that and use it in my beatbox routines. And those beatbox routines don't even have to be trap for me to use those concepts. So yes, listen to all kinds of music. Number five, this is the most basic, most general rule in the beatbox community: drink water. Alright, so let's head on to the more deep kind of tips. Okay, so the first deep tip is to be original. Now, I know in the beatboxing scene, originality is like this very huge thing, and in majority of the different types of judging criteria, originality is like this very important category. But at the same time, I feel a lot of people do not understand how important it is. Because here's the thing, in this generation, in today's society, you can be a very technical beatboxer. You can be a very musical beatboxer. You can have the craziest bass, the craziest whistles, the craziest sounds. But if you sound like everybody else, then what's the point of having all of those techniques and sounds? I have seen tons of beatboxers out there who definitely have the potential to be the best in the world, right? They can master any technique. They can master any sounds. But the problem is they're not creating any techniques. They're not creating any sounds. Now, I'm not saying you should create techniques or sounds from scratch. No, you can learn a sound and then create your own variation of it. You can learn a technique and create your own variation of it. For example, let's take the paw snare, right? Everybody can do the paw snare right now. It is not original anymore. But guess what? When you listen to Hartzell do it, it is so original. Why? Because he uses the paw snare in ways that nobody else is using it in. I could say the same for Given and Shazam as well. If you look at inward bass, if you look at Bigard, Inertia, Vocoder, they also use inward bass, but they use inward bass in a way, in a style that's only unique to them. So when you listen to Vocoder, even if you have your eyes closed, you know you're listening to Vocoder. You could close your eyes, Inertia could be right in front of you and you wouldn't know. But the moment he starts beatboxing, you would know that that's Inertia. Why? Because the way he uses inward bass is so unique. Nobody else beatboxes using inward bass like him. The same thing goes for Vocoder, the same thing goes for Br. So find your originality. This is not 2012, this is not 2015, where having one special sound is enough to make you unique and stand out. If having one special sound was enough, all I had to do was spam 626 throughout my entire GBB wildcard. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Which is why you see me trying to experiment with the polyphonic voice and use it in ways that people have not used it in yet. And guess what? It worked really well for me. So yes, originality, very important. The second deep tip I would say is to take a break. Now you know that feeling, right? There's a beatbox battle next month and you have to make a wildcard to enter the competition and you have no ideas and you're literally trying to cram your brain to find new beats, new routines just for your wildcard, but nothing is coming out. As beatboxers, as musicians, sometimes we just hit a wall, sometimes we lose motivation, or sometimes we just have no ideas, and that is normal. However, it becomes a problem where a lot of us start forcing ourselves to come up with ideas. I'm saying us because I've done this before, and honestly speaking, it is not worth it. If you have no ideas, just take a break, go eat something, do something else, take your mind off beatboxing for a while. We all have seen this before. Beatbox legends who have been on a roll, suddenly they just, don't beatbox for months. And then months later, they come back, boom, they win GBB or World Championship or something like that. It's okay to take a break. You don't have to force yourself to find inspiration because most of the time, inspiration finds you when you least expect it. So if you have no ideas, if you have no motivation, chill, relax, go do something else. Leave beatboxing for a while. And I know this works. Why? Because I took a break like for 8 months. Like literally 8 months. I did not do anything beatboxing. I did not even judge battles when people asked me to judge battles. And guess what? 8 months later, I won a GBB wildcard. It works, guys. Don't brain yourself so much. Take a break. Chill. Okay, so here is the third deep tip. Battling is not everything. Personally, I feel this is such a bad mindset. Like, come on, battling is not everything, but a lot of you only care about battling. I know this because there was a time when I was guilty of this too. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think Marcus Perez is such an amazing beatboxer? Does he listen to Swiss beatbox? Hell yeah, he does. But is that the only thing that he listens to? You see, Marcus Perez, he does not limit his beatboxing capability to just Swiss beatbox and the beatbox community. No, he goes beyond that. Why do you think he has such an original style? The funny and awesome part about Marcus Perez is that he is always using the same sounds. But he always manages to bring something new to the table because he allows himself to be inspired by things outside of the beatbox community. So don't just stick to your box. Don't just care about one thing. Like sure, battling is fun. Being on stage, making the crowd go, hey, 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 is awesome. Winning a plaque for being a beatbox champion, it's awesome, but it's not the only thing. It's common sense. I know a lot of you know this, but a lot of you choose to avoid it. I know because I used to avoid it too. So that is the third deep tip. Beatbox battling is not everything. The beatbox community is not the only place where you will find knowledge and cool stuff about beatboxing. That's it for this video. I hope the tips I gave you guys in this video will be of benefit to you. And if you like this style of video, where I just sit down and give you guys tips or answer your questions, please comment below and I will do more of this. Subscribe if you have not. I will really appreciate every sub I get. I'm trying to reach at least 50k by November or December. But until next time, peace out.